panika o kokošincu. Evo ga. Bibi, Milikowsky malo paničari. Baš im ne idu planovi onak kako su si dečki to zamislili.
Netanyahu is set to meet with President Donald Trump at the White House later this week on Wednesday, which would mark the
Ratni zločinac
sixth
u Bijeloj
time
kući.
they have met during Trump's second term, so in a little over a year. And of course, we all suspect that Netanyahu wants to meet with Trump to discourage Trump from engaging in peace talks with Iran, nuclear negotiations with Iran that would, prevent the U.S. from going to war with Iran, which would be a good thing, but not for Netanyahu.
Mm-hmm.
Netanyahu likes to have the United States do, Israel's dirty work for them. And so they don't like Iran. They don't like the fact that Iran has, a modicum of military capability. And as a result of that, Israel isn't completely unchained, can't do everything it wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
There is a little bit of backlash or pushback from Iranian proxies like the Houthis and Hezbollah. And so Israel wants to do away with Iran's military capability entirely. Iran will not co-sign onto that. And so that's where we have these negotiations kind of breaking down. You have the U.S. in the middle, which is Israel's bitch, of course.
Uh-huh.
And then you have Iran, which is like, okay, we're willing to play ball when it comes to nuclear weapons, but not when it comes to missiles. Because we as a sovereign country should have the right to defend ourselves. And considering the fact that Israel's in the region, who wouldn't want the capacity to defend themselves when you have this belligerent country that has attacked literally every single one of its neighbors and has stolen land from its neighbors? So with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about what we're learning. Now, Axios had reported that initially Netanyahu was going to meet with Trump on the 18th. But after Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner met with Iranian, negotiators just recently this past weekend, Netanyahu was like, can we move that date up, please? Can we move that date up? So they moved the date up. Now Bibi's going to meet with Trump on Wednesday. Now the meetings, which involved Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, did not reach a conclusion, unfortunately. But the fact that the meeting even happened is a very good sign, because prior to the meeting, Iran made it very clear, we're not open to negotiating about our missile program. Okay? That's not something we're going to talk about. You want to have a discussion about a nuclear deal, a new nuclear deal? Great. So there was a lot of concern that the talks wouldn't even happen, right? That Witkoff and Kushner would say,
Kushner je zet od
we have
Trumpovog.
to carry out what Israel wants. They have demands. We
Muž
must
od Ivanke koja je postala
carry out
židovka.
those demands. And if you're not going to do away with your missile program, then no, we're not interested. But no, they actually did meet with the Iranian negotiators. Now, Netanyahu's office has said any negotiations with Iran, quote, must include limitations on ballistic missiles and a halting of the support for the Iranian axis. So he's talking about the Iranian proxies who, in the case of Lebanon, defend Lebanese land. In the case of the Houthis, seem to want to defend the Palestinian people, which is nice. It's nice to see people on the global stage who actually give a damn about the Palestinians. Now, Iran has made clear that its missile program isn't up for discussion, something it reiterated following the Oman talks. The talks this past weekend did take place in Oman. Now, the Iranian foreign minister has also told Al Jazeera that missiles are never negotiable because they are a defense issue.
It's 2026. People are getting hired because they...
Ovi buliji, ovi Ameri, ovi lažni židovi, ovaj Netanyahu, ovaj Milikowsky, on bi zlostavljao sve oko sebe, pa nećeš sotano.
Now, of course, Israel likes to move the
nećeš
goalposts because they
idioti.
don't want peace. They don't want
Da,
the U.S. to reach a deal with Iran. They want war.
da.
And so Israel has stated that missiles are a red line for them, and they will attack Iran on their own if they need to. Well, we all know that Israel would be, absolutely destroyed by Iran without the help of the United States. So whether the U.S. is going to like it or not, they will be dragged into that war should Israel, just like the 12-Day War, attack Iran first. Israel will attack Iran. Iran will respond in kind and a lot more viciously. Mm-hmm. And then Israel's going to need its, daddy to come and rescue it. meaning the American taxpayers and the U.S. government with the help of the U.S. military. So that's really what's going on. I want to just kind of lay it out in as frank as I can, right? Just make it very clear what's actually happening here. So another unsettling thing about all of this is that Trump is insanely impressionable, as we know. Usually he just goes along with the last person in the room with him has said. And so after Trump met with Netanyahu this past December, Trump said that he was willing to back an Israeli attack on Iran if the Islamic Republic continues its missile program.
Daj luđaka, zatvorite više, luđačku, košulju i gotovo.
Netanyahu tells him behind closed doors, and then Trump obeys.
Jednog i drugog.
Like Israel's bitch. It's embarrassing. And by the way, Biden did the same thing. Biden was Israel's bitch too. Doesn't matter. This is not a partisan thing.
Da.
Okay, the American people are humiliated by our presidents when it comes to the issue of Israel, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. Let's just be very honest about that. So who knows what's going to happen? Look, the foreign minister of Iran also said that Iran would not agree to end its nuclear enrichment program for two reasons. The first reason being that the enriched uranium is used for legitimate energy purposes in Iran. But on top of that, they want to have a latent deterrent. Like, we don't have to hide that. We don't have to hide the ball. They don't have to hide the ball. They want a latent deterrent. Israel is a nuclear power. Israel has attacked its neighbors, has continued stealing land, has just carried out a genocide in Gaza. What country wouldn't want to have at least a latent deterrent when it comes to a country as belligerent and deadly and violent as Israel? So latent deterrent means they don't have a nuclear bomb, but they have enough enriched uranium to, make a nuclear bomb if they need it. Now, all of this sounds really scary, right? But here's the thing. If you don't believe that Iran should have a nuclear weapon, then you should be saying that Israel shouldn't have a nuclear weapon.
You know that moment right before you launch something new, that pit in your stomach? I remember when I started TYT, I thought to myself, what if there are cannon cards.com
weapons? And in fact, the whole nuclear program in Israel is a clandestine program that's not part of the non-proliferation treaty. For all the talk that we hear about the JCPOA and all of the safeguards incorporated in that deal to ensure that Iran wasn't developing nuclear weapons, who's checking in on Israel and what they're up to with their nuclear weapons? No one. Because Israel is above the law. Israel gets that double standard, gets a benefit from that double standard. They get to break every international law. They get to have a clandestine nuclear program that they acquired thanks to Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, stealing U.S. nuclear secrets and sending it over to Israel. Some of which, by the way, Israel then sold to the Soviets, who were our enemies at that time. Our special ally, right? That's our special ally. So special that we might spend resources we don't have and risk the lives of our soldiers to fight a war in the Middle East on their behalf. Yeah, it's great. Now, here's what I actually think is happening here. I don't believe Trump is interested in a nuclear deal at all. I think what's really happening here is these nuclear talks and negotiations are all fake. It's all theater, and it's all meant to buy time. Now, the Iranians might be doing this to buy time. But I do think that when you look at the whole of the Trump administration's foreign policy, I think it's pretty easy to understand that we're not militarily ready to go to war with Iran. We're not. Now think about it. For years now, we've been shipping weapons over to Ukraine. We've been shipping weapons over to Israel for their genocide, right? So our weapons inventory is depleted to some extent. We have a massive military buildup in the Caribbean still. So in terms of preparedness to go to war with a country that has that has a military capability far more advanced than Iraq ever did, I think they're just buying time. I think that's what's actually happening here. Because Israel gets what it wants. So in my mind, we're already there. We're already at war with Iran. And it's a disaster for the American people. It really is. We're already $38 trillion in debt. part of the reason why we are in so much debt is because of the trillions of dollars we've spent on fighting foreign wars, Middle Eastern
Isto
wars
ko i
on Israel's
Hrvatska.
behalf, and we're going to get dragged into doing it again. Plus, we're also learning now that Iran has obtained, this is amazing, it really is, unexploded U.S. bombs from the 12-day war. Remember when the U.S. bombed Iran's nuclear sites? Well, the foreign minister is now confirming that the ordinances at sites like Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan, struck by U.S. B-2 bombers and Tomahawk missiles during the June 2025 12-day war, poses risks that could delay IAEA inspections. Now, that's why he mentioned it, but in mentioning this, he's basically confirming, yeah, we have unexploded bombs. And so there are people who are concerned that Iran could reverse engineer these weapons and have even more advanced military capability, more advanced weaponry. But experts are dismissing the idea due to Iran's delivery limitations, meaning what's necessary or needed to deliver said bombs or launch said bombs. Who knows what's true when it comes to that? I mean, Iranians are... There's a reason why you have scientists assassinated in Iran by the Israelis over and over again. I'm pretty sure they can figure it out. But there are costs to striking Iran. There are costs to a hot war with Iran. And it doesn't really seem like anyone is sitting down and thinking about that carefully, strategically. Instead, we have a government that is bought off by foreign actors, and these prostitute politicians will carry out what's best for the foreign actors, not what's best for the American people or our soldiers. That's what we're dealing with. So that's the latest update. I really hope that my speculation is incorrect. I really hope that Trump isn't just trying to buy time and get the military ready for a hot war with Iran. We'll wait and see. But if you listen to Douglas McGregor, who used to be the man giving Trump foreign policy advice in his first term, things are not looking good. Let's just put it that way.
Every time you ring the bell.
Da, ljudi moji, da, idioti se igraju na šahovskoj ploči sa milijardama ljudskih života. Luđaka Trumpa treba zatvoriti, Netanjahua kriminalca treba zatvoriti i bit će mir. Eto, te dvije kreature. A Zelenskom neka sudi ukrajinski narod. Pozdrav.